Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Please, come.
Thank you, sir.
Take a seat. So, Dheeraj, please introduce yourself to the board.
Sir, my name is DHEERAJ Reddy. I hail from Hyderabad. Sir, my graduation has been in political science and international relations, history and public administration. Sir, my hobbies are reading English classic novels, playing badminton, and sir, quilling.
So, what is this merit scholarship at IIT Delhi?
Sir, in the year 2015, I had gotten into IIT Delhi, sir, in computer science department. Sir, in the middle of the second year, I had dropped out of IIT Delhi.
You dropped out, but you have not mentioned it anywhere. I mean, getting through the IIT means you got through the JEE.
Yes, sir.
And you joined the IIT Delhi, and second year you dropped and came back.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, my joining into IIT was mostly because my parents wanted me to get into IIT and follow engineering.
Okay.
But my interest was into arts. So we had an understanding that if I get into IIT and I get good grades in the end of the first year,
Okay.
it would give me the legitimacy to make a choice, informed choice.
Okay. So now, if you don't like the services, you'll quit and go back, do something else?
Sir, I would say it's a different scenario. I'm getting into services because I want to get into service.
You want to get into the service.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, what are the classic novels that you read? Which is the latest one which you have read?
So the latest one is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, sir.
Jane Austen. Okay, what's it about?
Sir, it essentially revolves around the idea that it is so easy to be prejudicial. And it is first instances can deceive us. We can have a wrong picture about the person. So it is always good to be open about and to give another person another chance.
So you give any examples in real life?
Sir, if we look at biases in general in society, there are the biases. If you look at, for example, from my own life, sir, I initially had a bias that maybe people from the lower classes are poor, maybe because they do not work hard. There is a stereotype that they do not work hard and they're lazy. That is why they're poor. But few of my friends from my graduation were from that classes. And when we have a direct interaction with them, the prejudice breaks. The social realities comes to force.
Okay. So anthropology is your subject. So you came back to science, after doing political science and administration. You liked the arts, but for the UPSC you took anthro. Why didn't you take political science and international relations?
Sir, when it came upon me to choose an optional, I wanted to explore one more new subject, sir.
Okay.
And also anthropology was scoring well at that time. So I chose anthropology.
So you chose anthropology. Now, you see, in India, we have been integrating all the tribes in the rest of the country. Or in the entire country, almost every tribe has been integrated. But in Andaman and Nicobars, there are many tribes. I'm not talking about the Sentinels. The other tribes in the main Andaman Islands, they have not been integrated. They're kept like animals in a safari park. They are, they stay in the jungle. They come out once in a while to beg food from the tourists or clothes or something. But they're kept away, aloof. Why? Are we, do we have the right to deny them the benefits of civilization, the advances in medicine, advances in education and technology?
Sir, the policy of the government has broadly been integration, sir, but integration at a pace that the tribes decide. And sir, coming to the specific instance of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, sir, there has been a distance which they have maintained. So specifically coming to medicine, they have not been exposed to the diseases which the mainland has been. So a sudden and fast contact would create havoc upon them.
Now they come and meet the tourists who are traveling on the road, or even, you're passing from one South Andamans to North Andaman. They come and meet you, they beg food, they take food from you, they eat that food, they wear your clothes. So they are fully exposed, but still we are not integrated in them.
Sir, also they are highly vulnerable, sir. The Andamanese women, there are many stories that they are sexually exploited with the tourists.
There's nothing like that. You're wrongly informed.
And sir, the other reason is that we let them choose at their own pace to make the decision of integration. And there are lowly plates that in.
Since Anthro is a subject, think about it to find out why they are not being integrated. There are studies conducted, and a few tribes were integrated, but they've died off. Their numbers have come down to 0, 1, something. Okay. Yes. All the best. Thank you.
You do take interest in foreign policy, right? And do you think India's foreign policy is based on moral principles, or should be based on moral principles primarily?
Sir, broadly speaking, I believe India's policy has been a mix of moral principles and national interests, sir. We have taken a nuanced stance in every instance, sir, since the beginning from 1947 till today, sir. If we take the instance of this Israel-Hamas war, for instance, we have taken a very nuanced stance wherein we have called the October 7 attack as a terrorist attack, but still we have asked for a two-state solution. And sir, coming to the issue of the war by Russia and Ukraine, we had imported oil because we had to meet our strategic needs for oil. But also we had provided humanitarian aid to Ukraine. We are also asking for a peace, a dialogue. Sir.
We have not condemned Russia. We didn't condemn USSR invasion on Hungary, Czechoslovakia. We have stayed away from condemning any attack or when the USSR invaded Afghanistan. So do you think that this is consistent with Gandhian principles?
Sir, I do accept that there were certain instances when there were flagrant violation of international law, wherein sovereignty of certain countries were violated. But in the interests of India, we had dependence on USSR even today for defense ties or oil imports. So because of that, we had to make a choice, and we made a choice which was fit to our interests.
What is the difference between non-alignment, that we practiced after becoming independent, and the kind of transactional kind of foreign policy or issue-based foreign policy that we seem to be now pursuing? So is it the same? Is it different version? Is it totally different? How do you see the two kinds of phases in Indian foreign policy?
Sir, the non-alignment policy was aligned to the needs of the time, sir. There were two blocks. The world was divided into two opposing blocks, and India did not want to be stuck with one block and not ruining its relationship with the other block. So we needed strategic autonomy, so we chose non-alignment. But sir, today, India's capacities have grown, India's leadership ambitions have grown. So sir, the policy of multi-alignment has been chosen, as you pointed out. Sir, the difference would be India is more proactive today. We are unapologetic to pursue our own national interests. And sir, the example would be we are engaging with SCO, while at the same time we are part of the Quad. So specific groups for specific needs. So that has been the strategy.
I'm actually surprised that you mentioned SCO. So could you tell me something about Shanghai Cooperation Organization and whether it makes sense for India to be a member of SCO?
Sir, SCO is essentially an organization based on the Central Asian countries and China, India and Pakistan, sir, and Russia.
And Iran now.
Yes, Iran was the latest to join. Sir, it essentially runs around security because of the threats that emerge from Central Asia, the political instability there, and Afghanistan has been added. And sir, India's interests in Central Asia via, let it be the trade, the energy routes, made India take the interest in joining into SCO, sir.
So what is special about Central Asian countries? What is similar about each Central Asian country? Why are they so special for India?
Sir, we have long civilizational ties. Let it be from the Timurid Mughals who had come about from Central Asia, sir. And sir, also we have they're rich in minerals, sir. Let it be oil or uranium. So it would be a great opportunity for us to exploit there. And so there's also a big market for India to tap into.
How far they are by air from Delhi? You are in Delhi right now. Tashkent or Almaty or Ashgabat, how far do you think they could be by air from here?
I'm afraid I do not know the exact number.
As much as Vijayawada, 2 hours away from here. So they are also close to us geographically. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Reddy, good evening to you. Now, Ramagundam is now in Telangana or Andhra?
Sir, it's in Telangana.
Telangana. That is why I wanted to know, what is it known for?
Sir, it has a thermal power plant, sir.
And where are the mines in Andhra and Telangana? Minefields.
Sir, regarding coal,
Coal mines. I'm talking coal mines, yes. Sorry.
sir, essentially the Singareni mines spread out, sir, along the Godavari river, sir, in Telangana. Andhra does not have it, sir.
Andhra, it is in Telangana? Yes. Khammam?
Sir, Khammam, Warangal, Karimnagar, these regions, sir.
All right. Now, medical science is increasing our longevity, our lives are increasing. It was 31 in 47, now it is 71 almost. Now, please tell me that is it theoretically possible to become immortal, that every year, 1 year of my life is increased because of the medical science? I am say now 75. Next year when I will be 76, by that time medical science would have done something, and AI and something, God knows what all would have come, and it would increase my life by 1 year, and it keeps happening, and theoretically you become immortal. Is it possible?
Sir, I would say human beings are animals. They belong to the kingdom of Animalia. And sir, death is essential. We cannot avoid it. But sir, there is this idea of programming the interface, the consciousness of humans being uploaded into the digital sphere. It's an idea. But sir, it could be possible with the developments in science.
All right. Now, what is mindfulness?
Sir, mindfulness, I have heard it in a context of meditation, sir. They use it in a sense of being conscious of our choices which we make, conscious of our impact, of our attitudes and our choices on the people who live around us and on the society, sir.
How do we measure poverty in India, rural as well as urban poverty? What are there are any number of studies carried out by Government of India to identify the poor? What is now the poverty in urban areas and rural areas, and how is the poverty measured?
Sir, it is essentially by the consumption standards, sir.
Okay.
They do a survey, sir, basically on a basket of goods. The price of the goods decides the threshold, sir. If people fall below it, they consume less than that, they will be called BPL, below the poverty line, sir. Sir, there is also this index of National Multidimensional Poverty Index, which has a different take. They also have a different basket of goods. They have a different criteria, let it be health or education or standard of living. So if they are deprived in more than 1/3 of the criterion, then they would call them deprived, sir.
Have you heard of Dr. Raghurajan, former RBI governor, his report on this? How to count poor in India?
Sir, I did not read that particular report, sir.
You have not read that report, but that is the precise idea in that report. Now, my final question, could Ukraine war have been avoided if America wanted it to be like that, if America wanted it to be avoided? Because after all, Ukraine joining the NATO was not imminent. So tell me, what are your views about it?
Sir, the war actually happened because of a security dilemma, sir. The NATO created a security dilemma in Russia. It was excluded. So if we had an
overreaction by Russia and staying away and maybe pushing or promoting Ukraine to go in, is that what happened?
Yes, sir. US, I would say both parties are responsible, sir. US had encouraged Ukraine to take an aggressive stance. They were outwardly and over.
So the war could have been avoided. All right, thank you.
All right. I was just reading, Dheeraj, you worked as team head at Navyug NGO for eco-consciousness, huh? Okay. And then, of course, you worked for suicide prevention, gender equity, inclusive education. All right. And you've done some outreach campaigns also. So, which out of these, are you the most passionate about?
Ma'am, I would have to say the inclusive education element, ma'am, because when I was part of it, I got to know the ground realities much more closely. We were working in the slums around the OU. So, ma'am, we had seen that differently abled students were not able to access the buildings. So, we had created certain ramps, wooden ramps. And ma'am, also during the evening hours, we had reached out to students who are not in, whose quality of education was poor. The education outcomes were poor in those students. So we had tried to augment the element of learnings further.
You've read about this recent, it's been all over the newspapers, no? I mean, about future employability of our Indian students, and that, children of the age of 14 to 18 years are not able to do basic maths or do basic, reading, English, etc. So, what do you think is lacking there?
Ma'am, I believe you are referring to the ASA report, ma'am. Ma'am, I would say there are multiple pillars, ma'am, regarding the issue. The first pillar I would say is teachers. Ma'am, teachers are not able to impart at the level which they want. Basically because, ma'am, the government has already identified that foundational literacy and numeracy are the basic issues, but we are still not able to focus on them. Because, ma'am, students, essentially there are the social aspects of it. Many of the women, almost 56% of them suffer from anemia. So they're not able to concentrate in school, in classes. And ma'am, initially, when in the primary stage itself, they lag, they're not able to catch up in the later years. So that is creating an accumulated burden on the students. And ma'am, coming to infrastructure also, I've seen personally in my own village that there are limited classrooms in which multiple classes are taught at the same time. So that affects the quality of learning.
So you're saying health, nutrition, and these aspects also have a direct bearing on, how the children are responding to education, right? Okay. And the quality of teachers and infrastructure is again an added issue. So, all right, so this much larger problem. So how, because you conduct outreach activities, yes, what are your couple of suggestions?
Ma'am, I would say rather than going on a traditional approach of teaching them directly, we had taken a new and innovative approach wherein we gave them an opportunity to read by themselves. So almost we gave half of the time for them to read so that they can correct. So we focused on these basics.
So did it have any outcomes?
Yes, ma'am.
Positive outcome?
Definitely, ma'am. In 3 months, we could cover most of the 90% of the students, ma'am. So we had seen that if we focus more on this foundational numeracy and literacy, that would have a greater impact. And ma'am, we had given this millet laddus out of ragi to the women, especially by sourcing it from a nearby market. So this had an impact, ma'am. They were able to concentrate.
Millets can also have a negative impact, you know that, no? They can leach water out and some nutrition out of the body if not cooked properly. Anyway, that's a topic for another discussion. Eco-consciousness. All right, very quickly. Our net zero goals, right? Because, if we plan to become more prosperous nation, people are going to use more automobiles and so how are you going to counter that? Are we going to have sufficient non-emission alternatives? And what would they be?
I would say electric vehicles will be a solution, ma'am. But we also need to look into how we are generating electricity. Essentially, we are majority that we depend upon thermal power to source that electricity. So while we go for shift into electric vehicles, we also need to see to it that our source of electricity is also turning green. We are going for solar. We have 150 gigawatt of renewable capacity, and we have grown at a very fast pace. We have also met our target, the COP15 targets. In that national review, it was shown that almost 25% reduction in the carbon emission growth had been already achieved, ma'am. Ma'am, further impacts, I would say we need to give more incentives. We need to sign the supply chain resilience initiatives, the way we have secured lithium from Argentina. We need to ensure that, and we need to perhaps invest more in startups who can come with innovative technology, trying to model China.
Okay, think about it, because on the other hand, we are saying that we can't do away with coal, we can't do away with, fossil fuels, right? When your Krishna Godavari basin, raising productivity.
Yes, ma'am. We do say that the base load can be provided by thermal.
Today this much, okay? Think about this question and answers, all right? Very nice. You gave a very good answer, okay? All the best.
Mr. Dheeraj, very good evening. So, electric vehicles versus hybrid vehicles. Which one of them are more greener and which one of them are more efficient energy-wise?
Sir, hybrid vehicles do also depend upon this internal combustion engine besides electricity. So, sir, definitely it will depend upon how we source that electricity. If we have green electricity, then I would say electric vehicles are more greener, sir. They are less polluting. But regarding efficiency, sir, I'm not exactly sure about the efficiency. I will look into it.
Okay. So, with respect to the Telangana movement, can you just briefly timeline important events right from the birth of the movement till the bifurcation?
So the initial sprouts had been in Khammam, where in 1969 agitation had started. And sir, it had slowly died down because of Mr. Marichanna Reddy's accession into Congress. So the next phase was very slow and weak. It had revived only in the 2009 period. Until then, there were only civil society participation, let it be intellectuals who had been writing articles for mobilization and awareness generation. But sir, when the TRS party was formed in 2000 and 2002, then it had kick-started. And sir, when the party gained power, it had a little bit of foothold during that period, 2002-2004. Then it allied with the YSRCP government in the center also. But sir, in 2009, there was a strong push. They created a Sakal Jivana Samay. It had a strong impact. The central government had acceded it. And sir, in finally 2014, Telangana state was created.
So before 1969?
Sir, before 1969, there was this initial demand against it during the time of the signing of the gentleman's agreement.
Okay. So after bifurcation, what is the current status? Did the Telangana government achieve those criteria? Or what it fought for? 3 criteria it worked for. What were those?
Sir, the 3 criteria were water, funds and employment, sir. Sir, coming to water, I believe the ground levels of water in Telangana have risen due to that Mission Kakatiya and Bhagirath programs, sir. And also this Kalishwaram project, many infrastructure projects were created for irrigation. Sir, coming to funds, the per capita income of Telangana is now 3.1 lakhs. It is one of the highest per capita income states in India. And sir, the GSDP growth is also fast. It's around 13% nominal rate. And sir, coming to employment, I believe much more needs to be done. There is skill gap in the students. And sir, though industry is growing fast in Hyderabad, the rural people still feel unemployment is quite strong there.
So with respect to GDP growth rate, is Hyderabad growth rate dominating the rest of the Telangana growth rate, or is it eclipsing the problems?
Sir, I would say Hyderabad is definitely a growth engine for the Telangana state, sir. It almost contributes 25% of the GDP by GSDP itself. The migration into Hyderabad has also deprived the talent in the rural areas, sir. The concentration is slowly it's increasing because lack of satellite city models. So I believe that Pura model can be applied there, and we need to work on more decentralization and inclusive growth.
And very recent elections, 6 free schemes. On that basis, the elections are won. So do you think the welfare schemes is contradicting this minimal government and maximum governance?
Sir, the reason for the flipping of the government in Telangana, as I believe, was majorly because of the concentration of the government in the urban areas. Because the electoral sheet clearly showed that the urban areas had voted in favor of the incumbent government, but it was the rural areas that had flipped the state, the government. Sir, I would say taking into consideration the socio-political realities of the state, there is quite deprivation in the peripheral areas. So, sir, it is essential that a certain element of welfare is provided by the government. But I would say there is proper balance the government has struck by the state government between welfare and development, because the debt to GSDP ratio is only 28%. It is quite workable.
Okay, thank you.
All the best. All the best.
All the